Hey friends, welcome to the channel. Let me ask you something real quick. How many times have you told yourself, this time I'm gonna change? Maybe you said, I'll start going to the gym, or I'll stop wasting time scrolling social media, or I'll finally start that business idea I've been thinking about. You get motivated for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, but somehow you slip right back into the same old habits. Don't worry, you're not lazy and you're definitely not broken. You're just running the wrong system. And that's exactly what this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, is about. It's one of the most practical, life-changing books about self-improvement ever written, not because it promises overnight success or massive change, but because it shows you how small, consistent actions can completely reshape your life. James Clear has one simple message: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Think about that for a second. We all have goals: and to lose weight, to make more money, to be happier, to be more productive. But having a goal doesn't actually change anything. What really shapes your future are the small habits, the things you do every single day, often without even realizing it. James Clear spent years studying psychology, biology, and neuroscience, and he discovered that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. Small changes may not seem like a big deal today, but over months and years they can lead to remarkable results. So in this video, we're going deep into the ideas from Atomic Habits. We'll go step by step, breaking down the core lessons from the book in simple, powerful language. You'll learn how habits are formed, how to build good ones, how to break bad ones, and how to design your environment so that success becomes automatic. By the end, you'll know exactly how to take control of your life, one tiny habit at a time. Let's start with the big idea behind the book. James Clear calls them atomic habits because they're small, like atoms, but they're also powerful. Just as atoms are the building blocks of matter, atomic habits are the building blocks of a remarkable life. The truth is, big success is just a series of small wins stacked on top of each other. Every habit you have, good or bad, compounds over time. If you make yourself just 1% better every day, you'll end up 37 times better in a year. But if you get 1% worse each day, you'll slide toward failure without even noticing. That's the magic of compounding. It works both ways. And yet most people quit before the results show up. Why? Because progress often feels invisible at first. James Clear explains this with something called the plateau of latent potential. Imagine you're heating an ice cube. You go from 25 degree to 26 degree, then 27 degree on, 28 degree on, nothing happens. You might think your effort is wasted, but then suddenly at 32 degree the cube melts. The same energy that seemed useless before finally creates visible change. That's how habits work. You can be putting in the work for weeks or months without seeing any visible result. But eventually, those tiny efforts break through, and suddenly everyone calls you an overnight success. The truth is, success is never about one giant leap. It's about 1,000 small steps that no one sees. Now, before we dive into the practical side, let's understand how habits actually work. Every habit, good or bad, follows the same pattern, what James Clear calls the habit loop. It has 4 stages: cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue is what triggers your brain to start a behavior. The craving is the desire or motivation to act. The response is the actual habit you perform, and the reward is the benefit you get that teaches your brain to repeat it next time. Let's say every time you walk into your kitchen and see a cookie jar, that's your cue. The craving is wanting something sweet. The response is eating a cookie, and the reward is that quick burst of pleasure. Over time, your brain learns this pattern, and it becomes automatic. Understanding this loop gives you the power to reprogram it, and that's where James Clear's 4 laws of behavior change come in, the foundation for creating better habits and breaking bad ones. The 4 laws are simple but powerful. 1. Make it obvious. 2. Make it attractive. 3. Make it easy. 4. Make it satisfying. If you want to build good habits, follow these laws. If you want to break bad ones, do the opposite. Let's go step by step through each one. First law, make it obvious. The key to changing habits is awareness. You can't change a habit you don't even realize you're doing. Most of our behavior happens on autopilot. You don't think, I'm going to grab my phone and check Instagram. You just do it. James Clear suggests a simple but powerful exercise called the Habit Scorecard. Write down your daily habits. Everything you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Then mark each habit as positive, negative, or neutral. This helps you see your patterns clearly. Once you see your habits, you can start using a method called implementation intention. It's a fancy term for making a specific plan for when and where you'll perform a habit. For example, instead of saying, I'll exercise more, say, I'll go for a 30-minute walk at 7 a.m. in my neighborhood. James calls this the when and where rule, because vague intentions lead to vague results. He also introduces the habit stacking technique, one of the most practical tools in the book. It means pairing a new habit with an existing one. The formula is, after I current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. After I pour my morning coffee, I will open my journal. By attaching a new habit to an existing one, you anchor it in your routine. It becomes obvious and automatic. Another key part of making habits obvious is environment design. James Clear says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. If you want to change your habits, don't rely on motivation. Design your environment so that the good habits are obvious and the bad ones are hidden. Want to eat healthier? Leave fruit on the counter and hide junk food in the pantry. Want to watch less TV? Unplug it and keep the remote in another room. Want to work out more? Keep your gym clothes where you can see them. Your environment should make good habits easier and bad habits harder, because what gets seen gets done. Now that we've made it obvious, let's move to the second law: make it attractive. The more attractive a habit is, the more likely you'll do it. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. The trick is to make good habits appealing and bad habits unappealing. James Clear introduces a concept called temptation bundling. It means linking an action you want to do with one you need to do. For example, if you love watching Netflix but you want to exercise more, make a rule: I can only watch Netflix while I'm on the treadmill. You're pairing pleasure with progress. Social influence also plays a massive role. We tend to copy the habits of three groups: the close, family and friends; the many, our culture or tribe; and the powerful, those we admire. If you want to adopt better habits, surround yourself with people who already have them. Join a group, a community, or a gym where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. In America, you can see this everywhere, from book clubs that encourage reading to cycling groups that make weekend workouts fun. When a habit feels socially rewarding, your brain naturally craves it more. Now comes the third law: make it easy. We often think success requires massive effort, but James Clear flips that idea completely. He says the most effective way to change your habits is to make them so easy that you can't say no. Most people get stuck because they try to do too much too fast. They set huge goals and like working out an hour a day and then burn out. Instead, James recommends the 2-minute rule. It says when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Instead of read a book every day, make it read 1 page. Instead of run 3 miles, make it put on my running shoes. Why? Because the goal isn't to get perfect, it's to get started. Once you start, momentum takes over. Reading 1 page often turns into 10. Putting on your shoes often leads to a run. Habits form through repetition, not perfection. James Clear also talks about reducing friction. Make good habits as convenient as possible and bad habits as inconvenient as possible. If you want to play guitar more, keep it on a stand in the living room. If you want to use your phone less, leave it in another room when you work. Technology companies know this rule well. They make everything frictionless so you stay hooked. Think about one-click shopping, autoplay on Netflix, or swipe to refresh on apps. They've removed effort. You can do the same, but for good habits. Finally, the fourth law: make it satisfying. Here's the deal: we repeat what feels rewarding. If a habit feels good, your brain wants to do it again. If it feels bad, it avoids it. The challenge is that good habits often have delayed rewards, like exercising or saving money, while bad habits have immediate ones. Eating junk food feels great now but hurts later. To fix this, James suggests reinforcement. Find a way to make good habits instantly rewarding. For example, use a habit tracker. Mark off every day you complete a habit. That small visual satisfaction triggers dopamine and builds momentum. You can also use habit contracts, agreements that create accountability. For instance, you tell a friend you'll pay them $50 if you skip your workout. The pain of losing money makes skipping unsatisfying. Now, there's one more powerful idea in Atomic Habits that ties all of this together, and it might be the most important concept in the entire book. It's called identity-based habits. Most people focus on what they want to achieve, the outcome. But James says real change happens when you focus on who you want to become, the identity. The goal isn't to read a book, it's to become a reader. The goal isn't to run a marathon, it's to become a runner. The goal isn't to quit smoking, as it's to become a non-smoker. When you tie your habits to your identity, they stick. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. You don't have to win every vote, just keep casting more votes for your new identity than your old one. This mindset shift changes everything. You stop chasing motivation because your actions naturally align with who you believe you are. James Clear shares the story of a man who lost over 100 pounds, not by obsessing over goals, but by asking himself, what would a healthy person do? And then he acted accordingly. Over time, those choices added up. That's the essence of Atomic Habits, small actions that reinforce a new identity. So how can you apply these ideas in real life? Start small. Pick one habit you want to build or break. Write down the 4 laws and design your system around them. Let's say you want to build the habit of reading. Make it obvious. Keep a book on your pillow. Make it attractive. Choose books you genuinely enjoy. Make it easy. Start with 2 pages a night. Make it satisfying. Track your streak on a calendar. Before you know it, reading becomes part of who you are. Or maybe you want to quit junk food. Make it invisible. Don't buy it. Make it unattractive. Remind yourself how it makes you feel. Make it difficult. Don't keep snacks at home. Make it unsatisfying. Tell a friend your goal for accountability. It's not about willpower, it's about smart design. James also shares several advanced strategies, like habit shaping, where you gradually improve a habit step by step. For example, if you want to start jogging, maybe in week 1 you just put on your shoes. Week 2 you walk for 5 minutes. Week 3 you jog a bit. You're building consistency before intensity. He also talks about the importance of tracking habits. What gets measured gets managed. Use a notebook or an app to record your progress. It keeps you honest and motivated, and when you slip up, because you will, and don't panic. James Clear says never miss twice. Missing once is fine. It happens to everyone. Just don't let it become a pattern. Success is built on consistency, not perfection. At the end of the book, James gives one final message: focus on systems, not goals. Goals are about the results you want. Systems are about the processes that lead to those results. Goals can give you direction, but systems are what actually get you there. If you completely ignored your goals and focused focused only on your system, you'd still make progress. But if you ignore your system and only focus on goals, you'll keep failing. And that's the real secret behind Atomic Habits. Small changes don't just add up, they multiply. So here are the biggest takeaways from the book. Small habits make a big difference. Focus on systems, not goals. Habits are formed through cue, craving, response, and reward. Make good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Make bad habits invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. Tie your habits to your identity. Become the type of person who does what you want to do. Never miss twice. Consistency beats perfection. Now imagine this. A year from today, you've built better systems, stronger habits, and a clear identity. You didn't change everything overnight. You just showed up a little better each day. That's the power of Atomic Habits, the small actions that create extraordinary results. So start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Pick one habit, apply the 4 laws, and take that first tiny step, because small things done consistently are what build big lives. And as James Clear says, you should be far more concerned with your current trajectory than with your current results. If you're moving in the right direction, even slowly, you're winning. So keep going. One step, one habit, one day at a time, until your small actions become who you are.